After it's all said and done, you're going to be taking splinters out of your fat asses all night long because you got fat asses. The only one chance you have no chance. If you had a chance, you need to run lickety split. But you can't run because you're fat asses. Well, Ric Flair, you know what? I'm not a normal looking athlete myself. You know what I'm talking about? I've been in the gyms a lot. It's a privilege and an honor to walk out with Ole Anderson, Lex Luger, and the Army tomorrow night.
I am not a happy camper. What is Bully Ray's motivation? You know I know he loves sugar. But I check my pocket. I don't have no donuts. I don't have no cheeseburger. I know you love sugar, but I ain't got none.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here in Nashville, Tennessee, pal. I'm the man.
Look at a match for the total package like Luger and Super Brawl. Super Saturday? What is it? I don't know what it's called. What is it called?
Super Brawl Saturday.
Super Brawl Saturday?
You don't lose faith in winners. And Ric Flair, day in and day out, every day of his life, just keeps winning and winning and winning.
Ric Flair! New York City, Ric Flair! You're gonna find out what hard is all about! I do exactly what I want to do. You say I'm insane. I say thank you very much.
Make a good intro.
I hate God! Hit the deck! Yes! We love you, Scott Steiner!
Today, woo, I've got the star and profile like never before. You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR.
A lot of percussion. A lot of percussion in that song, Smark. Sounds a little Slipknot-ish.
Yeah, it really does.
A little bit Slipknot-ish, but it is not. It's just a royalty-free song. The name of the whatever it is Contra, like the old video game. Yeah. There you go. A little instrumental there. Like it. What is going on, everybody? It is Wednesday. It is the Dirt Sheet Dudes. Appreciate everybody joining us. Oh, man. Fresh. Coming off a WrestleMania weekend, or weekend. It's been, man, I got to tell you, I was wrestled out Sunday after we watched, and then, we had Raw, NXT moving over to Tuesdays. AEW tonight. There's something on tomorrow, I'm sure. Impact, right? They moved to Thursdays?
That's right. Yeah.
SmackDown on Friday. You got all the YouTube shows. You got all the indie shows. It's like, Jesus Christ. Fucking
never ends.
Stick a fork in me, bro. I'm done, man.
That's right.
But we're still going to get into some stuff. We talked a little bit about WrestleMania Night 1 on WrestleMania Night 2 when Dirk and the High Marks joined us over there. It was a nice, good, fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. Actually, was a damn good time. Had a great time doing that. Definitely be doing that again. That's some good fun to do over there with those guys, and I got pretty high. just felt like I had to just keep smoking and smoking and smoking. So, and so I did. I don't know, just something I felt like I had to do. So I did. But yeah, we did live WrestleMania Night 2. All of us pretty much felt, Smark, I think you agreed that Night 1 kind of knocked out Night 2.
Yeah, for the most part.
Kind of edged it out a little bit.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, neither night was bad, but Night 1 was just sort of more, I guess, emotional for everybody.
Oh, definitely emotional. I mean, we had Bianca Belair doing her thing out there, and that was a huge little moment for her. Not a little moment, a huge moment for her. Huge little moment. That's kind of an oxymoron, isn't it? A huge moment for her on Night 1. Like I said, I saw a lot of people, and you know what? We can get into this before we do the plugs. I saw a lot of people upset on the old social media, Smark.
No.
About the almost crying right before the match started. Like, as they're in the ring, they're staring at each other, and they just both had the look like they were about to tear up. That's how people angry, like seething at this.
It's unlike social media to be angry about nothing.
Yeah, I guess so, man, but I saw nothing wrong with that. They just got so emotional. It was, like I said, a huge moment for both of them. I thought it was really cool to see the fact that they were so emotional and so excitement. Dude, they're fucking humans. They're not fucking robots. What do you want them to do? Go out there and beep, boop, beep, boop, beep? No, they're fucking human beings. They have emotions, and they fucking laid them on their fucking sleeve right there, man. Loved it. I thought it was a great little moment. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, if you wanted the beep, boop, you got that the next night with Orton.
Listen, we always have John Cena matches. You want beep, boop? Go look at those.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick here, but go watch Cena matches if you want beep, boop.
I will never forget how angry he got on the Total Divas for what's her name, that using the coaster.
Oh, dude.
Just straight up, he had what I could only imagine Benoit eyes. It's I told you we have coasters here for a reason.
Dude, he was very OCD. If you ever watched that show, the one where he basically told everyone Daniel Bryan and Brie were staying there, and he's like, okay, once we go to bed, I would recommend staying in bed because I have a lot of guns, and I will shoot, and then I will find out what's going on. And I'm like, I kind of like this guy, but that's not really the way to do it. Okay.
I like your style, but you're going to need a few tweaks.
Yeah, I really like, I like where you're coming from, but I think I might want to work on the, not to pun this, but I might want to work on your execution, if you will.
I think that was the plan.
It's a stupid one either way. All right, let's. But yeah, I had no issues with that. And then people got pissed. Oh, look at Sasha down there after the match. They caught her on that little. Someone caught her on a video. The WWE was there filming it too. You could see the guy in front, but she was smiling and enjoying the moment for her friend. Oh, let's get pissed about that too. Beep, fucking boop.
There you go.
All right. Let's get fucking plugs done before I lose my fucking temper here.
Oh my, this is going to be a very hostile ride home.
No. It's not going to be a very hostile show. Not at all. I promise. My notes for all three shows are very short. Raw, NXT, and AEW. But yeah, very short. And I'm going to stick with this. Less reviews, more news. And if the shows are shorter, fuck it, they're shorter. That's just the way it's going to go from now on. So, yeah, much less on the reviewing. It's just kind of getting, beep boop. So, all right, let's go ahead and knock these plugs out real quick. What are you guys going to start with? The guys I already mentioned. The guys we did WrestleMania Night 2 with. That's the High Marks. It's Cheeseman. It's Mojo. It's G-Wiz. Oh, God, did we have a good time that night. And if you want to just keep those good times rolling, you know where to go. Go to Mixler.com/Metal Mitt Network. That's right, 2 T's and Mitt. Metal Mitt Network. And check them out. You can check out them 8:30 p.m. Sunday nights. That is Eastern Time. Go check them out. And, of course, you got the Bobby Anthem and the Bobby Blades on the Inhuman Experience. Check those guys out. Go ahead and subscribe to them on Apple and all the usual podcast platforms. They are going to come back. A little bit of hiatus, but do not forget to subscribe to that channel. Everything Unscripted Wrestling Podcast. Check out those guys, too. Eric, Doug, Daniel, great guys over there. Eric's also a huge Chicago PD fan. Love that fucking show. So me and him been going back and forth. And Law and Order. He's a huge Law and Order, and he's watching that new Law and Order Organized Crime. I don't know if you've seen that. But they can be found on all the usual podcast platforms right there, and Blog Talk Radio. Stephen Milan, I appreciate you sharing the show. I know Smart does too. Don't mean to speak for him, but I know he does. Letterboxd, boxd.com/Stephen Milan is where you can find him over there. He's reviewing movies. And you guys can always find us on Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeart, Anchor, Spotify, YouTube, Google, TuneIn, Player. You know it. Go for it.
That's right. Mondays, 8:30 at a little bit podcast. And be sure to check out the Sheens. It's Sheens, man. 10:30 a.m. Sundays. Be sure to check out the Motor City Machine. Certainly not late. Be sure to check out our friends at the Back Home. It's kind of right on the podcast. Bobby and the Papa Days and Zero Yuck Nasty. All 60 episodes available for your listening with pleasure. Go ahead and subscribe with season 2 as it approaches.
There you go. All right. And just so everybody does know, Smart did receive my old setup, so we're going to get him set up with a little mic and an audio interface. He's going to be pumping sound out like a goddamn maniac, and we're looking forward to it. So we'll get that going. I sent you the drivers.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've switched their fucking site. I think those are the drivers. I hope they are. If not, I'll look through one of my external hard drives. I'm pretty sure I got an old driver in there, and you can update from there.
Yeah, figure it out.
Yeah, so we'll figure it out. Meantime, I might want to move that a little. Mike, your external just a little closer to you. You sound like you're a little far away and tinny, but yeah, like I said, we've got a few little things to get into. You know, before we get into the reviews, I just got 3 little things that I want to bring up real fast. We were talking about John Cena, and on this day in 2005, we were introduced to the spinner belt.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. The fucking spinner belt. I bet that thing pissed him off. It just won't stay up straight.
Well, this was the U.S. title version of that?
No, this was the WWE spinner belt.
Ah, very nice.
Oh, yes. The WWE spinner belt on this day is what we were introduced to. And there you go. In 2005. Was this the start of some of the shitty belts? Like some of the custom-ish shitty belts? Was this it, or I think it might have been.
Yeah, I think it was about the start of that. I mean, it depends on how far you want to go, because when I think about shitty belts, I think about that Jeff Hardy TNA one.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad. I mean, it was, the only cool thing was it was something he drew that basically came to life in his head. I got that. It was sentimental. Feelings are great sometimes. Not with a belt that a whole audience has to look at, though. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I like I said, I get it, but that was pretty bad. I used to love when he used to look at the belt, look away, look at the belt, look away, look at the belt. Wasn't that really cool?
Boy, was it.
Anyway, it's also Lita's birthday today. Born April 14th, 1975. Born the same year I was.
Nice. Very nice.
I did not know that. So happy birthday to Lita, and still looking great. Still looking great. And the last thing we'll go ahead and mention, which, again, we're not going to spend a ton of time on any of these. It's just going to cut our news down a little bit. Jazz announced she is retiring, and that's going to be on the tomorrow on Impact. So if you want to watch Jazz retire, it'll be on Access tomorrow night and Twitch. You can also go to Twitch and watch that. So there you go. Yeah. Looks like they had a pay-per-view this weekend.
Yes, the stroke of genius. They decided that WrestleMania weekend was not convoluted enough. There were not enough shows. They were going to head and throw an Impact pay-per-view on the fire too. She had a title versus career match with Diana Purrazzo. She ended up losing that. So that's where we are.
All right. Well, I remember Jazz been around a long time. Was right in the Attitude Era, right? Yeah, Jazz was right in the Attitude Era.
ECW.
Yeah. Was always very good, and good for her. If she stays retired, that's great. If she doesn't, wants to come back, it's up to her. So I guess we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I guess we say thank you. Now, she also works behind the scenes at a promotion here in Texas. Hold on. Is this the one that's right near me? Give me a second here. SWE Fury. Yeah, this one is near me. They do shows right in like Hotham, which isn't far, Carthage, which isn't far, East Texas, which my parents live out in. So all their shows are within an hour of me. Did not know that. I didn't know she worked for them or with them, but there you go. Huh.
Nice.
You never know. I could see her at one of those shows. But, she's been in WWE, ECW, NWA, Impact, and I think she was even on a All Elite. Wasn't she in AEW for a hot minute for some match, right?
She might have been in one of the Battle Royals.
I think that's what it was. I think it was one of the Battle Royals. So anyway, there you go. We'll see what happens with that. If she stays retired, looks like she's, like I said, doing work backstage behind the scenes with SWE Fury. So she's got something to do in the meantime in the wrestling business. Sometimes that kind of makes you stay retired when you're still in it, but not having to take the bumps,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So good for her. We'll find out what goes on. And those are three quick things I just wanted to throw out there. Again, I don't think we need to spend much time on it. And I guess we'll go ahead and get into some quick highlights of Raw. I guess we're going to actually stick a little bit with news because there was a new commentary team on Raw. Samoa Joe was not on commentary. We ended up with Corey Graves. It was Corey Graves.
Sexton.
Yeah, Byron Saxton and Adnan Virk, who's Smark MLB guy. I know you're a baseball fan. Do you know? I think you're a baseball fan.
A little bit. Long story short with him, he worked at ESPN. He was there for a couple of years. He got fired. It was sort of a weird situation. There's like some confidentiality violations. I guess he leaked some information. There was like potentially some litigation involved, but they sort of agreed to settle out of court. So it never really became clear exactly what it was that he did wrong. Ended up going to the MLB network, and then I guess I don't know if he's still with them, and he's just kind of moonlighting, but there he is. It
says at the end of the article here that he will be finishing. It says he'll continue his MLB network duties for at least the 2021 season.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that means he's going to be, out after this or finishing up his contract. Or maybe he'll just find time to do both. I mean, guess we'll find out coming on down the road. But there was a new announced team, and it was very noticeable. You're used to hearing the same three voices. Suddenly you're hearing a different voice. And I got to tell you, this guy sounded a little... He did get flustered. They made fun of him for it a couple times.
Sure.
But he laughed it off and kept going. Just doesn't have a standout, just has a regular sports guy voice.
Yeah, I mean, he's a polished guy, but he's ne's never really had a commentary role as far as I know. He's more of a like host kind of situation.
Right.
And it's a very kind of interesting position that he was kind of thrust into, because he had never called a wrestling match before, and here he is on Raw. It's Raw after Mania, and like all the news outlets are talking about him being the replacement. So all eyes are on him, all ears are on him, and there's a little bit of a rocky start, but he might get better. Who knows?
Yeah, and you just said two things that are very, very important. Not only is he just thrown on their flagship show, he's thrown on the flagship show after their biggest show of the year, WrestleMania. So yeah, definitely. You know what? I'm not going to shit on the guy. I'm going to give him a couple of weeks. He could have been nervous as hell. I know there's no fans, but there's a lot of people watching. Actually, might as well tie that in right now too. Man, we're going through everything a little too quick here. Raw actually did top 2 million for the first night. Right there after WrestleMania, they actually averaged 2.026 million viewers. They finished the night with a pretty good, the highest, this is only the second time they've done that. The only other highest was Legends Night with 2.128 million average. So, I don't know what they were there for.
Well, I know they won't be back more than likely. Because, they had been hanging around that 1.7, 1.8 range for, just seems like perpetually, just always doing it for the last month or two. Mm-hmm. And now they get that big bump because everybody was talking about Mania and everybody was talking about Bad Bunny and all the. They were getting all these outside eyes and ears sources everywhere. And you got everybody that's tuning in kind of be like, all right, well, I haven't watched in a while. Let's see what they got for me. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah. Well, they didn't drop very much. They actually kept that throughout the night. They averaged 2 million, which is pretty good over the night, which means they kind of kept up with it pretty steady over the night, which good for them. I do got to say, right before we get, we're getting into Raw right now, but after hearing 25,000 live fans cheering, this was very, what's the word I want to use? Deflating to watch Raw.
Yes.
Is that a good word?
Yes, definitely. I feel like the best way to kind of sum it up, I don't know if you've seen it. I meant to post it, but I didn't have the opportunity to. There's I think it's from the second night, maybe first or second night. Anyways, they had a bunch of cardboard cutouts to kind of fill in seat space, make it look like there's more people there than normal. Well, one of the funny things is one of the people that ended up attending WrestleMania was Jimmy Lloyd of GCW. Uh-huh. There's a photo of him sitting amongst what looks to be about a good 24 or so cardboard cutouts, and it's just fucking hilarious. But it's also how I felt when I was watching Raw. It's just like I'm the only live person in this group of cardboard cutouts.
And they also made him change his shirt. He had a GCW shirt on. They gave him a Hurt Business shirt to wear.
Mm-hmm. Which was great because then somebody went and edited Hurt Business to include him as a member.
Yeah.
On Wikipedia. So I was like, good job there. And that made me laugh because I was actually seeing it the first night. I was like, oh, cool. And the guy in GCW shirt just kind of stuck out. And I was like, oh, when I actually saw who it was, I was like, I didn't notice it was him at the time. But yeah, that was interesting.
I heard he actually went to, wrestled in that shirt at GCW.
Might have.
All right. We'll get it.
I'm still catching up on some of those Mania shows. I downloaded a bunch of them.
You mean bought?
Well, you can download them. You get the free refills.
Oh, okay. Free refills?
Because they had a bundle going. You pay X amount and you get the whole weekend.
All right. Very nice.
Yeah.
Good job. So, all right, let's just go ahead and get into some of the main things that I want to hit on this show. And if I miss anything, Smark, fill in some gaps for me here. Charlotte comes out with a lot of either plastic or Botox in her face. I haven't figured it out yet, Smark. I'm not quite sure. She comes out and she is built, I'll tell you, like a goddamn 4x4 pole. Just Not a curve on her. The girl's in 3-inch fucking high heels and still doesn't have a curve on her ass.
Well, I mean, it's very responsible of her in this day and age to try to flatten the curve.
Very true. Very true. I mean, we're, 390 some days into 15 days to slow the spread. We're flattening the curve. 15 days to flatten the curves, Mark. There you go. That's how it works, man. So, I know a lot of people disagree with me on Charlotte. I still say she's incredibly overrated, even promo-wise. Same promo. I'm great. My family's great. Blah, blah. Go ahead.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I got a good kick out of this promo because basically she comes back and she says that, she's here. She everything that happened was not her fault. The forces conspired against her so that she didn't end up having a WrestleMania match because you had Lacey Evans getting pregnant. You had Ric Flair going out there on Legends Night and being Ric Flair, making a fool of himself, as she said. And there are a couple of other instances, but basically everything that happened was not her fault. The world is basically against her. But the good news is that she is no longer going to be the humble, modest person that we've all come to know and love. I don't know when this person is here, but according to her, she was very modest. So I'm wondering what full-on, full-tilt, arrogant Charlotte Flair is.
The same Charlotte Flair we've been seeing forever because you really don't act. When is this humble part? I don't remember ever her being humble. She, like I said, the same promo. I'm great. My family's great. You want to be me. I don't want to be you. I don't steal opportunities. I am the opportunity. Is she Edge now? Suddenly, she's been talking to Edge a little bit.
She is an opportunity.
Yes, she is. I mean, look, from here, you knew what was going on because right after that, we had the little Rhea thing. We had the Charlotte obviously was going to get involved in the Asuka versus Rhea match. The rematch, actually, which did come up next. And really, it was a great match until Charlotte attacked both of them and got got the DQ. Now, I kind of figured it was going to end this way. Charlotte kind of told you it was.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, mid-promo, you're like, hey, you know what's going to happen? She's going to fuck up that match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird, though, because, like, their chemistry got worse the second time they wrestled. Because, like, the first night, it was really good. I enjoyed it. But then, like, the second night on Raw, I don't know if they were just trying to get everything done on time or what. There was a lot of botches.
Yeah, you're right. There was. I did see a few there. I don't know.
Especially towards the end. I don't know if they were just trying to get everything done before it was time for Charlotte to interview or whatever. But it was very clunky.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Clunky. I always like clunky. I mean the word, not actually clunky. You know what I mean. Anyway, let's get into this Alexa segments, Mark. So, I'm kind of thinking that maybe this didn't work out the way they want, because now it seems like they're trying to cover up this whole Alexa thing with her saying, oh, here's the story of me being rescued by the Fiend, and then after Randy Orton burnt up the Fiend, I kind of realized I didn't need him. I could actually do more without him, and she kept calling him the Darkness. I just kept thinking of that Dave Chappelle show with Charlie Murphy talking about Rick James.
Darkness.
That's all I could think about. And then, basically she could do everything on her own. So the little transformation she did into, air quotes, Sister Abigail, was just to fuck with the Fiend, and suddenly we meet her new friend Lily.
Which was amazing, because I was seeing a lot of comments on Twitter that just like, Paige is looking great these days.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, jeez. But it was funny because we were talking about it, and during the show I had said, because they were showing the video package, I said during this video package they're going to rebook this match about 5 different times. Turns out they literally did rebook this match during that weekend.
Oh.
Apparently, the original plan was the Fiend was supposed to win, and then either that Saturday or that Sunday, they decided they were just going to go ahead and have Randy Orton go over because fuck it, why not?
Yeah, I get, and again, I guess, does this mean it looks like they're breaking? Because we do see a Firefly Funhouse later, where Bray is basically doesn't even want Alexa mentioned. Mm-hmm. Abby was very foul-mouthed in this little segment.
Yeah, she was.
She called her.
I would expect better from her.
I would too. She called her a bitch. I believe said fuck her the second time.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah. Abby was a little salty in this, and then in that segment we also got kind of a Deacon Bray, but it looks like Bray's just kind of going back. This character evolves, doesn't devolve, so I'm wondering where this is going to go from here.
Yeah, I'm curious about it too. I mean, we haven't really seen like a Reverend character in a little while. I guess not really since Devon, so that'll be kind of fun. He needs something. I mean, they can't just keep you basically killed all the momentum the character had by having him lose. So the character's got to evolve into something now. You can't just keep being the same sort of menacing presence because I mean, it's just not people aren't buying it.
Yeah. And again, I just this character devolving is not very good, but also I know that maybe he's got something in store. I hope they didn't run out of ideas. But yeah, it looks like they're splitting them up. So now we're going to have Alexa's Playhouse and the Firefly Funhouse, and that's going to be it's just going to get old pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fucking quick. But I don't know. I really got nothing else on that. We can go ahead and move on from there if you're all right with that.
Sure.
I kind of missed where it was on the card, but I know we did get a return of the Viking Raiders, Smark, with a little match against Shelton and Cedric. What did you think? What do you think of the Viking Raiders returning, Smark?
I mean, it's cool to have them back. It's just a little bit disappointing that it was kind of at the expense of Shelton and Cedric because it's like I feel like they deserve so much better. But unfortunately, they are going to be locked down into that purgatory of 24/7 and not being used and being on main event. So, I mean, that's their lot in life now.
And it's very confusing because they were they were a big part of that storyline. And to just kick them to the fucking curb just makes no sense. Well,
not only that, but you built the whole story around them not getting along. So now they're just suddenly like best friends now, but now they're not in the hurt business. Yes. So it's just like that month or two you invested in. Can they get it together? Can they be good teammates? They can, but now they're on their own. So who knows?
They're like ride or die right now, dude.
Mm-hmm.
They are completely ride or die at this point. So, but I guess it is what it is. I don't like seeing Cedric and Shelton treated like this. Like I said, they were a huge, a huge part. Oh my God, sorry about that, everybody. They're a huge part of the Hurt Business storyline, and yeah, they're just being kind of dusted aside. So, as Sacha Baron Corbin is saying that the old man Vince doesn't see them as stars, allegedly. Then why would you put him in that Hurt Business and given him so much television time? See, that's something I don't really believe. I think maybe he just doesn't see them as, maybe he sees them better in a stable. But, my God, I don't know. It's sad to see them just be swept aside like this. Good to see the Viking Raiders back, I guess.
I mean, that's kind of the thing, though, is I feel like both of those opinions can hold true. It just depends on how he feels that day. Mm-hmm. Where it's like some days it'll be like, oh yeah, they're great, and then some days it'll be like, yeah, fuck them. But then it just all depends on where you catch them.
Yeah, you're right. I guess depends on what time of day it is. Those old fuddy-duddies start to shadow a little bit in the afternoons.
Sure. I mean, and that's what we were talking about with Wiz was saying that he had been watching in a while, that he was, he enjoyed the show. Mm. And it's like, well, yeah, that's the thing is the matches are good, but there's just no real commitment to any sort of long form storytelling, continuity, coherent booking, angle storylines, anything of that nature, of just any sort of direction. They're just very directionless at the moment.
Yeah, it's kind of just thrown together,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of showing. After that, I got three more segments that I want to get into here. Miz and Maurice come out, and Smark, I believe the word you would use for this was an infomercial.
Pretty much. Yes.
Just to announce the new season of Miz and Mrs. coming up, or Miz and Miz, Miz and Mrs.
Ms. and Mrs. Yes.
Yes. Maurice looks great. Let's just go ahead and say that. She's been putting out pictures lately that would damn near, I'm surprised the fucking internet's not catching on fire. And once again, I know I said it a couple weeks ago, but I thank God Miz is back in a suit. Honestly, I like his character in a suit. I don't like those ugly ass outfits he wears because he was wearing them all the time. And I hate it. Just come out in a suit. I liked it. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool to get him back. Miz is talking about Bad Bunny, Smark. They show some highlights. Damian Priest comes out. Basically, he puts over Bad Bunny. He says, listen, he put in the work. That's why he was better than you and pinned you. Miz challenges Priest to a match. Morrison goes, hey, I was about to do the same thing. And then Maurice, of course, the voice of reason, says, you can both fight him, right? Handicap match. It's on. Now, I do have to say, my wife came out at this point, Smark.
Yes.
And she really liked Damian Priest's gear because it was purple.
It indeed was, yes.
She really liked his gear. She really did. She's like, that's so cool. I'm like, what do you want some? Maurice did distract Damian Priest, and that allowed Miz to win. His feet were on the ropes, though, which I don't know how the referee missed it. His feet were blatantly on the fucking ropes.
Right. It was weird because it was weird how sort of meta everything was. Because basically Miz was, the promo you alluded to before the match, Miz was basically saying that, like, he lost, but he did such a good job of putting Bad Bunny over that he's like a star too, which is kind of, that was a lot of like the feedback that I was seeing was that people who don't always watch or like watching just for him were kind of getting an understanding of how putting together on like a match works, or how, everybody working together to make everybody look good, how that kind of gets underappreciated when it comes to like evaluating matches and whatnot, because there was a lot of people that were putting over Miz for, bumping his ass off for him, Morrison for bumping his ass off for him. So it was weird that they sort of acknowledged that within storyline. That being said, you mentioned Miz getting the pinfall with his feet on the ropes. But what you didn't mention, he done went and had himself a little bit of a wardrobe malfunction now, didn't he?
Oh.
His fucking pants exploded.
Yeah. Listen, you shouldn't wrestle in slacks. They don't stay together well.
Mm-hmm.
Suit pants do not stay together well. That's probably an expensive, probably a fucking $1,500 suit he had on. I got a feeling Miz does not buy cheap shit. Not anymore. I just got a feeling because, he's told his story, didn't grow up with a lot of money, and I think he pays very good money for his suits, and he has a lot of money. So, like I said, I think the guy got a fucking Bugatti. You're not going to get a fucking car that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars and then be sitting there in an off-the-rack suit.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, you want to go to Marshall's, babe, in the Bugatti? Okay. Sorry, go ahead, Spark.
Oh, no, I was just saying, no Men's Warehouse for him, I suppose.
No, I go there. They do have some nice suits. And actually, they do have some very expensive suits they do have a rack, but no. I'd like to stick in the $300 to $500. That'll last you pretty good. Dry cleaning it 3 times won't make it not match, and Suits are fickle. I'll tell you that, Smark. They are. They really are. But all right, let's go ahead and get into this last little thing here. It's two segments tied into one, really. MVP and Drew. MVP is out there. He's talking. Drew comes out. So we got MVP and Drew going back and forth on the mic, right? Braun comes out and basically tells Drew, hey, take your ass back to the back of the line, bitch. And then Randy comes out, and he's like, now that I took out Bray and Alexa, no more mind games. No more.
Which is the part that I love. Because he basically just shut up, goes, well, my feud's over. Can I have a title match, please?
Thank God this feud is over. And then Adam Pearce comes out, and he's like, I'll straighten this shit out. And he
as only
he can by making a triple threat. Now, Smark, I believe he's trying to one-up Teddy Long's tag team matches by making triple threats. That's what I think he's doing.
That's his thing. Everybody has to have their own like signature match. It'd be like for Pierce against triple threat. Teddy Long was a tag team match. Dario Cueto loved ladder matches.
Yeah,
everybody has their own thing.
And Teddy Long also loved going one-on-one with the Undertaker.
Indeed, he did, yes.
No, he loved putting people against the Undertaker. He loved that shit. God, Teddy Long was great out there, man. He was so much fun. Just out there bouncing around and having a good time. You could see it in his face. He was having a blast. Now, we did get to this match. Now, Smark, I got to say, I looked at how much time was left, and I'm like, oh, God. There's only like 10 minutes left.
I did the same exact thing, so I'll not judge.
See? Now, a few things in this match. Braun had a good time, Smark, hitting Randy Orton with the steps. Randy, at one point, did have Braun pinned. Drew runs in, Claymore to Orton's head, and then Drew pins Randy. And now, Smark, if you watch the Hulu version, you might not have seen this.
Okay.
MVP walks out of the ramp, and T-Bar and Mace come out and attack Drew. That wasn't on the Hulu version, was it?
It was, yeah.
Oh, then I stopped it early. I obviously I went back and watched it. So, because I'm like, oh, yeah, I heard this happen. I didn't see it, but I must have stopped it early or something. But now, no one has said that they are in the Hurt Business, number one. I see a lot of people going, they're in the Hurt Business now? How does that make any sense? It doesn't. Could they just be fucking, sorry to use the word, could they just be a couple of thugs for hire?
Mercenaries? Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's a better word for it.
Well, that's kind of the thing. And I mean, people are going to speculate because, they were speculating that Corbin was going to be involved when he showed up with them. So just sort of natural for people to think that if you're associating with them, that you're going to be part of the Hurt Business. But, maybe that's not the case. It wouldn't make any sense, but that's also might be why they're going to do it. So it's hard to say. Like, logic doesn't always prevail with them. So you really sort of have to, figure it out, parse things together yourself and try to figure out what it is that's going on.
It just wouldn't make sense on so many levels. So many, the way they have pushed this story, the way they've draped these guys, and they had draped those guys in gold, it just wouldn't make any sense to put these two guys. They're just fucking going to be, I like your word, they're going to be fucking mercenaries. That's all they're going to be.
Could be. And I guess the rumor is that they're going to, eventually drop the names. They might keep similar looking gear, but they're going to drop the names. So I don't know if they're going to go back to what their old names were. They're going to give them new names. That's sort of the rumor at the moment. But another reason it wouldn't make sense is like the Hurt Business were they were the only people that really successfully kind of stood up to Retribution at that, at the very beginning at least. They were the ones that sort of ran them out of town.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Now, I will tell you though, if Mace and T-Bar are looking to drop the names, Mace, I would like to keep. He looks fucking mean in that gear, and if he can wrestle with it, That's even better. It looks like the fucking Predator in there wrestling, dude.
Yeah.
Love it.
It looks nice. I love it.
I love it. I T-Bar, I could see him wanting to take that fucking gear off. He probably, everyone knows it's Dijakovic, so.
Yeah, that is the big difference. Is like T-Bar sort of already has his identity.
Yeah.
People know who he is. Whereas, Mace or Dio Madden or, whatever you want to look at him as, he sort of didn't really have a personality per se or anything that really fans could associate with him.
Yeah.
So, it's a good idea to sort of leave him with that if you're going to leave anybody with that.
Yeah. And when I say Mace looks like, Predator in there, I do mean the character Predator, not a Predator. It's 2021. You gotta straighten that out now, Smark.
I understand.
I don't mean he's going in there like a predator, like he's going to touch someone. That's not what I mean. I mean, it's like
he wears the mask and a trench coat.
I mean, like the real predator,
I get it, yeah.
Predator. Good shit right there. Still on Hulu, if you want to check out that movie. Still on Hulu.
Well, I might give it a try. I haven't really watched anything. I think I tried to watch the first Alien. And I got a little bit distracted, but that whole sort of realm of the Alien movies, the Predator movies, Alien versus Predator versus Brown versus Medication, that kind of thing, haven't really delved too deep into that.
Well, they weren't really tied together back in the 80s. They sort of grew together. As years went on, people were clamoring for it. I don't know why. But, yeah, they really weren't tied together back in the 80s at all. It just,
I see.
They recently, by recently, I would say within the last 20 years, started putting those movies together.
So they're thematically similar, but not necessarily within the same umbrella.
Right. Yeah. People just put them together, and suddenly you had Alien vs. Predator, and then from there it just kind of took off because it was a big hit, that movie. I've seen that one, but the original Predator with and Jesse Ventura is in there, and the guy who played 48 Hours, he played Billy Bear in 48 Hours, is in that movie.
There you go.
And his name is Billy in the movie. His name is Billy in Predator too.
That's an entirely different sidebar, but like one of the things that I hate about like movies or sitcoms or whatever, when they cast a famous person and then their character name is the same first name as the actor.
Yeah.
Like, that just always bugs me for some reason. Like, it's a weird example, but the one that really just sticks out, The Nanny. Where it's just like, this is Fran Drescher. It's like, it's not a character, it's just fucking Fran Drescher. That's just tune in to see her.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, I never watched one episode of that show, but I actually like Fran Drescher. She's good.
I do too, actually. She's kind of underrated in the looks department.
Get a nice little nip look in a movie called Cadillac Man.
I have seen this, yes, with Robin Williams.
Robin Williams and Tim Robbins?
Can't remember.
I think his name is Tim Robbins. He's also in another movie called Bob that I love. I think that's the name of the movie.
What about Bob or just Bob?
Nope. I think it's just called Bob. I think that's it. I have it. It's somewhere. Like, I have the DVD, like the physical DVD of it, because I can't find it any other way. Wink, wink, nod, nod. So I have the actual DVD. I actually ordered it from Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah. By the way, we are on Amazon. Did not know that. Did not know that until today. If you want to listen to us on Amazon, I guess it's Amazon Play or Amazon Music. We're on there. Yeah. Pretty good there, huh? All right. Tell you what. Let's jump on into NXT.
Let's go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 notes for NXT. That's it. So, first thing I want to mention on NXT, Smark. Karrion Kross just looks great coming out there with the title, man. He's jacked. He's got the fucking entrance. He's got the girl. He's got the title draped over him. Everything about it fits.
Yes.
I just wish they had a fucking crowd.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, we'll get there at some point, I think, but I totally agree.
Yeah, Sasha Baron Corbin, NXT's on Tuesdays now, buddy, so I checked it out at work today.
I watched the first half last night and then the rest this afternoon.
Yeah, I didn't have an easy day, but I had enough time to keep pausing and going back and watching it. Man, I'll tell you what, I walked into work Monday and it was like truck. I had 7 trucks. 3 of them, I came back from lunch, 3 were waiting. I have 2
Yikes.
I have 2 docks, but I'm one man on 1 forklift, so
And but one man and but the
yes, I'm only a man on a forklift. But anyway, I really just wish they had a crowd. With this, it's just it's so simple, it's so fitting. A crowd is gonna pop for this. I don't care how much of a heel this guy is. He's gonna walk out there with that entrance with Scarlett. And the crowd's going to fucking pop. They may even just be popping for Scarlett. I know I would. I get it. But everything about this just fits. I like it. I love it. He needs to have a really long run with that title so we can get them back in a crowd of people.
Yeah, I was really starting to kind of wonder because I was seeing that in this, like a year from now directly, because this was episode 616. So in a year from now, it'll be episode 666. And I am curious if he will still be on the roster then, because it seems like that would be right up his alley with the whole sort of semi-demonic presence thing about him.
They'll probably skip that episode.
Probably. It'll be like episode 667.
Right, to 667. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, but, and you know, Dirk, I don't know if it is on Peacock the night after. I know you can get a shrunk version on Hulu, which is what I actually usually watch. Only an hour. You don't miss much. You can go check it. And I knew you were typing Peacock, Dirk. You don't have to correct yourself. All right. I didn't say Peacock.
Yes, you will not be graded for your spelling and accuracy.
This son of a bitch said Peacock. All right.
Getting a demerit.
Please stay after class. We'll smoke a joint together. Okay.
Got some boons farm and the teachers.
Did have one teacher that would do that, actually.
Nice.
Oh, that was my old woodshop teacher. This guy was old. I mean, old. He had a horse that used to, you know, that buggy racing where they're on the back and I'm not even sure what they really call it.
I don't know why, but it's the idea that somebody that is just like drastically old is the woodshop teacher.
He was a cool guy though, man. He would sit there, he'd smoke with us, and then he was a cool guy. I'm not going to mention his name. I'm just going to say he was a really cool guy. But again, all this just fits with Cross. I like it. I just want him to have the opportunity to be, because he had to surrender the title almost the day after he won it last time, which was in front of people, and then this whole thing hit, and he comes back to no fans and a bunch of fucking TV screens. He basically says, in the promo, oh, it was only a matter of time before I had this back around my waist. Obviously, he's right. Puts Balor over. Didn't surprise me. And then basically he puts the whole locker room on notice. Anything else?
No, that pretty much covers it, I think.
Okay. Then let's go ahead and rock on and move on. We get the next segment that I want to get into is MSK versus Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. Now, again, this is one of those matches where if you're a fan, you know what's going on here. You know this is going to end up the way it does. There is no way on God's green earth they are taking the titles off of MSK I don't care if it's the first Tuesday they're on, the last Tuesday they're on. They are not going to fucking do it after they put so much, so quick into these two guys. No way. No way. So, again, didn't take me out of the match, but you knew where it was going.
Right there, that's fair. And I mean, it was what it was. It wasn't super long either, so that was a good part of it. But like for what it was, I think it was good. Like I'm right there with you, where I didn't think that they were going to lose, but I think it was a good way for them to sort of showcase their moveset and what they're about, how they wrestle as a team. So it was concerned.
No, and I'm not saying, this was awful, this was stupid. None of that at all. They did further a storyline here. At the end, Alexander Wolf got in the ring and was staring at Killian Dane. So, Imperium jumped him from behind. So they did at least further a storyline in here. It wasn't like they just went out there, had a quick match, MSK wins, and all right, let's go to the next match with nothing else.
Right.
I'll give them a little credit there, I guess. So at least they tried to further something. But again, they've put so much into MSK. They did. I mean, they literally, you want to talk about going, no pun intended, all in on someone. I've said that before. They really did. They put everything behind these guys right away. Right away. Obviously they got a lot of confidence in them. And if they keep doing what they're doing, I think they're going to move up very quickly.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And then what? I hate to say it, but and then what? All right. So we get Santos Escobar. After that, Smark with Legado del Fantasma. Escobar.
Wild and the other guy.
Wild and Mendoza.
Yes, that's right. Raul Mendoza.
There you go. Escobar's out there, cutting his promo. In the middle of the promo, he issues an open challenge. Kushida comes out. And it's Kushida versus Santos. He accepts the challenge, and they go at it. Great match. Now, I did notice Kushida was in trunks, not the usual. He usually wears the jeans out there, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. That's paying tribute to his childhood hero, John Cena, with the jorts.
Yes, you're right. He does. He wears the jorts out there. He has trunks on. Getting a little serious. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they got some. And once again, I'm glad to see this guy. I don't care if it's a mid-card title, a low-card, whatever you want to call it, a joke title. I'm glad to see they've got some confidence in Kushida to start putting titles on him and see if he can do anything with them. They new Cruiserweight champion after a great fucking match between these two guys. I mean, holy shit, what a match between these two guys. Escobar was pissed at the end of the match, but Kushida put on a great fucking showing in this match. I've said before, that guy is so talented, so creative in the ring. I like him, and I'm glad they're gonna. Maybe this is a test. Start him here and go from there.
Yeah. And I thought it was a little bit on the short side. It was more of I think they had a little bit of the picture-in-picture too. Was kind of how they fleshed it out. So if you're like me, I went back and watched the full version. But if you're like me and you watch the Hulu version, it was a lot more truncated. But I did like the idea that they sort of Santos wasn't necessarily exposed. Like, he wasn't outclassed or outworked, outmaneuvered or whatever. He was more of, he was riding the high of winning on TakeOver. He kind of just arrogantly put out an open challenge, maybe took Kushida a little bit lightly, and he ended up, getting the better of him because he won with the roll-up. It was a nice little innovative, like, kind of pinning maneuver, but it was he did win via roll-up, so it was sort of a flash pin situation. So it was, like I said, it was completely outclassed. So he still manages to save face in the loss, and then you obviously put the belt on Kushida, so it's bigger and better things for him too. So good stuff. Yeah,
most definitely. Now, Sasha Baron Corbin saying Devlin sucked. Did Devlin have a match that I missed on the Hulu version?
No, he didn't have a match per se, but he came to Kushida, who was in the training room, and he said how basically fortune had smiled upon him because he has to go back to the land from which he came. I think he's Ireland. But anyways, he has to go back. so he's not going to be able to compete and be in NXT, compete for the title or whatever. So, but when he comes back, he's coming back with a vengeance, and he's taking the title.
Are they deporting him?
I guess. I mean, you fucking JBL is going to go ahead and just lariat him back to where he came from.
Jesus Christ, we lost two people we lost two people on this show. Okay. All right. We get a woman's segment here. A good chunk of this segment was there was a nice little end to this segment here. We get Dakota Kai bringing out Raquel Gonzalez, obviously the new NXT Women's Champion, Raquel Gonzalez. Now, Raquel cuts a promo. Now, Smark, I got to say something.
Yes.
I think Raquel is better than Charlotte. In-ring and promo-wise. How's that?
Sure.
So, just wanted to throw that out there. There's many better than Charlotte in this company, as far as I'm concerned. Now, as this goes along, we get some music, and it's Frankie Monet, Smart. Formerly Taya Valkyrie. She comes out with her dog. I'm not sure what the name of the dog is, but adorable little pooch. Now, this Taya and Raquel feud is obviously starting right here. Now, I can get behind this, man.
Yes.
Two jacked up women, great in the ring. Both can cut good promos. And I don't know if Frankie, it just sounds weird to call her that. I don't know if she is a Latina, but I know she worked in CMLL and a few promotions like that, so she definitely has some Spanish.
Right. No, yeah, she's fluent. She's worked, like you said, she worked Triple H, worked Lucha Underground. She sort of has that luchador style about her. So yeah, she's definitely versed in the.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this as her. I mean, this is going to throw her right into the title picture too. So
we'll see. Fucking Raquel Gonzalez with the line of the night. She informed Miss Monet, were she to interrupt her again, she was going to shove her dog up her ass.
She did. I'm surprised PETA hasn't come after him yet for that. That would be really bad. She should have.
I will say that's the first time I've ever heard that threat before. I am going to shove your dog up your ass.
Yeah, she should have gone with a Big Boss Man reference. And you're going to be Al Snow. All right.
It'd be a very interesting pivot to be like the happy, smiley, like pseudo baby face in this moment. To be like, I would kill your dog and make you eat it if you ever disrupt me again.
Would you like some pepper with that? Okay. Now, all right. So after that, again, they sort of set up that they're going to be having a nice little feud together, which again, I'm looking forward to. We'll see what happens. Again, I haven't seen a lot of Taya Valkyrie, but and again, that is John Morrison's wife, so good to have her there, and I'm sure he's happy. So anyway, after all that happens, we get Rhea. She comes down looking great. Her and Raquel have a little stare down, Smark, and then they just clink belts and give each other a nice little smile. Then we get Bianca. And then, now they had taken a picture, or someone had taken a picture of Raquel Gonzalez, Bianca Belair, and Rhea, all three together. And they put the picture up on the screen. They all point at it, and they all kind of give a nice little hug. Really good moment for them. Now, Smark, I don't know if you saw what I saw on the old toxic media. Did you see people comparing this to the curtain call, the Click curtain call?
I did not, but that sounds pretty ridiculous.
I did. And I saw people going, did they just curtain call? No, this is 2021. They are three women who came from NXT and fucking killed it and all now have titles. What?
Well, yeah, they're
That's
different
it.
places. Because, I mean, they already had that flow off for the Ripley and Gonzalez feud. So it was like, all right, and it's behind them. That's in the past. I think more than anything, it was just sort of their way of, it was the first Tuesday that NXT was on USA. So it was like, here's where the stars are, where it's like they've all been in NXT and now they're all moving on. Well, with the exception of Gonzalez because she's still there, but they're all moving on to greener pastures or, you know.
Right. Right. Yeah, absolutely. All moving on. I mean, Bianca Belair has been into the main roster the longest, obviously. Rhea kind of tapped back and forth once or twice. I think this might be actually be her second time because she was over there and then they left her on, she was over there for the Charlotte feud and then they, left her, then they brought her back. So, again, I mean, you just got three, and I mean, Bianca Belair had an incredible Mania moment, deserved one more moment. I'm sure they're going to definitely be putting her over on SmackDown, so that's fine too. So, but she deserved this. There's no reason for anyone to start comparing this to shit like that. So, my God, everyone needs to just stop jumping to these conclusions. Or I need to just stay the fuck off social media. That's probably what really needs to happen. Anyway, two more little things we'll talk about. We'll talk about this little Roderick Strong thing and then this little main event.
So real quick then, I guess, and it was in the Hulu version too, but they played the aftermath of the Kyle O'Reilly Adam Cole match.
Yeah.
Which was fucking amazing. It didn't achieve what I imagined the desired result was, because I don't think the desired result was for me to laugh hysterically at it. But I got a really good kick out of, they showed the match, they showed all the big moves that happened, they showed them being like put into the ambulance and then being taken out of the ambulance, being transported to the quote local medical facility, as they like to call it. And so they have both of them on stretchers. And just the entire time as they're being like rolled in on the hospital, in their hospital beds, you have Adam Cole just going, "You ain't shit, Kyle. I'm gonna fucking kill you. Fuck you, Kyle. Fuck you. You're dead. You're a dead man." Like, I just got such a big kick out of him. And like, he's not even like propped up. He's just straight up laying there, like almost fucking unconscious. And you have him going, "Fuck you." Like, basically being like, "Fuck you. You ain't shit." Literally telling him that he's dead. That's a straight up verbatim thing. And then on top of that, to make it even funnier, you see them being wheeled in, and while he's supposed to be talking, his lips are not moving.
Did it remind you a little bit of Days of Thunder?
A little bit.
Remember that movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, when they're, Tom Cruise and, oh my God, Michael Rooker are going down, they're driving down the hall and they're racing their fucking wheelchairs. I don't know. It remind me of that. Just kind of did. Anyway, Roderick Strong. But yeah, you're right. I actually laughed at that too. And I just decided not to. Again, I'm just trying to tighten up my notes a little bit, not getting to every little segment. It's just beep boop to throw it back there. We get Roderick Strong. He's we saw him earlier, but we see him again. He's with Marina Shafir, who doesn't even look like the same Marina Shafir. Looks like she's put on about 20 fucking pounds of muscle, dude. Roderick is seemingly, if you remember, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, when he said, kind of walked out like old sad puppy dog and said, "I'm done. I'm just done with all of it." Was it 2 weeks ago, Smark?
Yeah, because he lost to Grimes, and then that's 2 weeks ago.
And he took himself out of the that Battle Royal match.
Yeah, Battle Royal for the gauntlet for the championship title shot. He was going on and on a Russian missing down situation.
Now he hands Regal an envelope, a paper size, one of those little 8.5 by 11 manila envelopes. Hands him one. Now, I've got two things that I caught here when I was watching this. First of all, Regal says, "Okay, you're welcome back anytime." Remember that. Second, Regal never opened that envelope. I have a feeling that envelope is going to end up being a contract. And that Regal is going to make a match with whoever he had a contract drawn up against.
Interesting.
I think that's where it's going to go. Because
it was better than my theory, which was just that there was anthrax in there. It's part of his new gimmick.
I don't think they would go there, Smark. I really don't. I mean, I'd get a chuckle. You'd get a chuckle.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, I mean like a CD, like from the Scott Ian.
The band Anthrax. Well, I mean, you probably jam that out, man. Fucking Regal, man. He's a cool guy.
Oh yeah, Regal's definitely a metal guy.
I think that what that is a drawn up contract, because somehow these superstars can actually draw up their own contracts somehow. They do it all the time. So I think that's what it is. I think he's going to end up coming back. It's going to be a match with someone. I'm not 100% sure. It might even be back with Grimes again. Might be a gimmick match. We'll see what happens. There's a WrestleMania Backlash is coming up soon, Smark.
Indeed it is.
So there's probably going to be a takeover. Yes, I said WrestleMania Backlash. Now, you know what? Let's get into this real quick, Smark, since I just mentioned it. Let's talk about this. And I heard they also are doing a WrestleMania SummerSlam. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I got a problem with it, but when you take the name of your biggest show of the year and start tacking it on to other pay-per-views, it just makes that pay-per-view less each time. It makes that huge pay-per-view, that huge weekend that people pay for. People used to, I mean, I know the pandemic going on right now. People cross countries come to this show, and you're just going to tack that on to a few others. Why? Just so you can get people in the stadium again? It's a little worrisome. You're just taking the name. I mean, it's like if you've got a signature burger and suddenly you decide to throw an onion ring on top. Never had before. I mean,
you call it the rodeo walker.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, but why are you doing that? You had the best burger and you just decided to throw it onto another burger. Why are you doing this? I don't know. That's probably the worst analogy ever or comparison. But I'm hungry.
I don't know. Throwing a burger onto another burger.
Now I feel like a burger, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, now they're doing WrestleMania pay-per-views. So I'm sure there'll be a takeover. Maybe that's where we're going to see Roderick Strong come back. Maybe he comes back as a heel. Maybe he comes back as a huge baby face. I have to say, if he didn't come back, I probably wouldn't even notice.
He's going to start trying to come back and nobody pays attention.
Well, I mean, they
it's
got
this wonderful life situation.
I mean, they got Austin Theory. You know, they got other little guys out there they can put out there. I don't think I would notice if he didn't. I'll open a beer in the guy's honor, but
what I even like is I like how he showed up with his wife. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, even when he's by himself, he's still just like the secondary member of whatever it is. Like he can't ever be like on his own. He can't ever be like the star.
They're married?
Yeah. Yeah, he said it's his wife.
Oh, I didn't. I mean, I knew they were, together. I didn't know they were married. Oh, good for them.
Yep. So like even then, like his wife basically filed the quote unquote retirement papers for him.
Wow. I don't think they are, Smark.
That's what they said on commentary.
Well, did they see what was in the envelope?
Well, that's true.
Did anyone see what was in the envelope?
That's a good question. Wasn't there like some kind of like late 2000s WCW angle built on a fucking manila envelope? I can't remember what it was, but this seems eerily familiar.
I would laugh if basically Regal, like next week, Regal opens it and it's just like a picture out of a coloring book, and he's just got it colored perfect, and he's signed the bottom, and, and Regal's just like, the hell is this? Okay.
Remarkable cursive for crayons.
All right, let's see what happens. Shit. All right, let's get into this main event.
I can fully picture this too, and like it has to be like a bear. Like it is a bear, and the bear is like perfectly bear colored, but it's like a bear that's like wearing, it's anthropomorphic. It's got like a little hat on, a t-shirt, whole 9 yards.
Oh yeah, probably that. That would be so adorable. Just a unicorn all covered in perfectly, just colored in beautifully.
There's a distinct possibility that before I go to bed tonight, the last thing I'm going to think about is Roderick Strong using a coloring book.
Yeah, or it's just a picture of an armband that he colored in with a big circle and a line across it.
While he's sitting in his high chair with his wife at the Applebee's.
It's done on. I was about to say it's done on a napkin, and he just.
Just gnawing away at the chicken tender that he got in the kid's menu.
There's just paper, and then there's just paper towels shoved in the rest of the envelope. All right.
Go ahead. Push for Roderick's coloring book to be the title of this show.
Oh shit! All right. And just real quick, by the way, this is our first week doing these 3 shows in a row, so. Really gonna
see is what we were trying to say.
Yeah, I'm really gonna. I don't know if we're gonna maybe have to leave off a show. Give us some feedback. Let us know if we should, or if you don't even want us to talk about one, let us know that too, because we won't waste our fucking time.
Right? You don't have to say "raw," but you should say "raw." Is what I'm trying to say to you.
Do you have a blank check to give to anyone, Smark?
Well, but of course. I mean, I can't legally say that. You have payola and such.
Well, I don't believe payola for saying something on a podcast is. Anyway, we get this.
There's FCC.
No, you're right. There is. No, fuck them. We're not fucking governed by them. 8-man mixed tag match is what we get for this little. Sasha Baron Corbin said skip AEW.
Of course.
I like your style. Sasha. All right. 8-man mixed tag. It's Dexter Lumis, Bronson Reed, Ember, and Shotzi versus The Way, all 4 of them. Now, we all know over the last few weeks, Indy Hartwell has been sort of hot and bothered by old Dexter Lumis.
Mm-hmm.
This was a big part of this match.
Indeed was.
A big part. Lumis, in theory, actually started off the match. It didn't last too long, though. Now, into the match, as we keep going, Indy is, like, face-to-face with Dexter Lumis. He walks up to her, and she's just all smiles. And Candice pulls her off the apron as she goes in for a kiss. Now, this match did turn into a bit of a clusterfuck, Mark. Did you kind of catch that? I mean, and the fucking switching of the camera angles did not help the clusterfucking of the match.
Right, very much so. Yeah, it's such a like awkward situation when they do stuff like this, and I get why they do it, but it's like it's just very weird because you have like the women that are doing the moves to the men doing the dives and whatnot. And just kind of chucking them around. But then, like, the guys can't really do anything, so it just becomes very weird and uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm not even trying to sit here and complain and be like, oh, they're demasculating them, but it's weird because it's like, there's no reason other than just, like, the real world reason of you don't want to show that violence. But, like, for the character, it's like, well, it doesn't make sense. They're not trying to stand up for themselves. It becomes weird.
It does, and you're right. I mean, we don't want to see that violence anymore. I get it. But, yeah, you're right. There. I mean, it is kind of a double standard.
Right.
Because the women can beat the shit out of the guy. They could go in there and hit him with a chair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you're Randy Orton. Randy Orton can seemingly can RKO women, and it's fine.
Yeah, maybe he's from a different time.
I mean, when he RKO'd Beth, I heard some people complaining, but as we've said many times tonight, social media is just a toxic fucking cesspool anyway. So,
right, and the people that were complaining have not heard her do commentary.
No, exactly. So, you bastard. And again, it just match got a little clusterfucky at some points. Now, basically, I'm going to go to the end of the match. Loomis has Gargano in silence. He almost has him passed out. Indy comes in. She's behind Dexter Loomis, Mark. And she just can't bring herself to kick him. So she decides to just fall down loudly and take a bump. Now, after a little bit, Loomis did end up carrying her out, and she had the biggest shit-eating grin on her face as he's carrying her up that ramp.
Indeed. Well, she even made a note of turning her head and giving the thumbs up behind his back.
Yeah, I mean, she acted like she was hurt, so he'd pick her up. She did it twice, really. At one point, Gargano was kind of like, what the fuck? And she did it, so obviously the way is falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't know. I definitely see Theory and Gargano having some good matches down the road. Indy Hartwell and Candice could be fun to watch. Looks like I don't know, but Loomis getting involved is going to be fun to see where they bring it. Because I got to be honest with you, they haven't done much with him lately, Smark. They haven't done much that I like. I like him. I really do, but they haven't done much with him that's like giving a fuck. I mean, fucking guys drawing pictures for him being a host.
So, my question with all of this in this match is, why did they run out of fabric, or what happened? Why couldn't they give Austin Theory matching gear? Everybody else had matching gear. They all had that sort of turquoise type color, I think it was. But except for Theory, he just had regular blue.
Well, maybe Theory had heard the Honky Tonk Man shoot where he said, if they put you in baby blue, you're fucked.
I also like that as a mental image of just Austin Theory idolizing the Honky Tonk Man.
Just being maybe he's got a point. Yeah.
He's just walking around the Hall of Fame ceremony, just come out of your paycheck, you fucking mark.
Oh, shit. Well, anyway, even without Dexter Loomis, Reed, Ember, and Shotzi do end up winning that match. And like I said, main part of that match was really the Indy thing. The winner, who or what. It was really to further that story, obviously, because that was very heavily injected into the match.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And really, that was NXT. They did do a decent number. They did 805 was the number.
Yeah, it was 802.
802. I'm sorry. A 2-5. They all look the same.
Right. Yeah, I mean, basically the same thing. It's up quite a bit from what it normally is for normally does.
I think they need to keep these numbers up. They need to actually gain these numbers just a little bit more. But that's a good number on your first Tuesday. And I got to be honest, for a first Tuesday, this show wasn't exactly knocking me out of my seat,
Yeah, not necessarily. There was nothing. Well, there was and there wasn't. They tried to make it a big show. It's debatable on whether or not, because they put 2 title matches in there. They opened it up with Cross. They did that whole, segment with the women of just are the women that we have here are sort of the future. That was the whole message behind that, that segment. And so, then they had their moments, and then, the way is a big act for them. They showcased them. They showcased the women's tag team champions. So it's right. They did about the best they could do in that situation. It's just right now it's hard because obviously they had takeover, so all of the like feuds are sort of concluded. So there's no like real big feud match payoff that they could put out there at the moment, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, this whole way thing is still working itself out. So, I guess that's, one storyline they're continuing. So, I mean, like I said, it's just, now listen, I'm not going to sit here and, say that NXT didn't put on the greatest show unopposed and say that AEW did either, because for being unopposed, I think they phoned it in a bit tonight. I hate to say that, but they kind of did.
A little bit.
All right. I'm glad you at least. I mean, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and get through it.
Not as much as the last week. It looked like they were just like, yeah, fuck it, we got nothing.
See, I didn't even go back and watch last week. I gotta be honest. I did not go back and. I mean, last week we did NXT because it was night one of Takeover. So that's what we did instead. But I just, even AEW tonight didn't feel like, okay, we're unopposed. Let's go out there and fucking kill it. Felt like, all right, we're unopposed. Last week was WrestleMania. Let's just kind of get a show out there this week, and maybe next week we'll jump back into it. And, I mean, they've already got a few matches for next week, so we'll see. But let's go ahead and run through this real quick. Now, Smart. AEW.
Yes.
We're getting the heel Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
The $1 million question. I guess in order to keep the elite together, because, people were fretting over whether or not they would maintain as a group.
All right, whatever. I'm not the biggest Young Bucks fan anyway, but them as heels they're still, I mean, I know they're getting older, but they still just look like white meat baby faces. Always.
Yeah. And I mean, and they sort of mentioned that on commentary, how they were sort of parodying themselves in a way. So that was kind of interesting because they were going through their same, the same beats that they normally do in their match, but they were just sort of doing it with insincere faces and being kind of sarcastic about it.
Yeah, I mean, besides the stupid beads hanging from the fucking, their headbands, they're just not heels. But anyway, all right. So we get that, and then right after that, we get a little Mike Tyson thing with MJF. Now, I went ahead and I saw it, so I decided to grab it when I saw it. I'm gonna go ahead and play it for you.
Sure.
Mike Tyson back there. Obviously, Mike Tyson is going to be the special enforcer in the match later on with Dax of FTR and Jericho with Sammy. So he's going to be the special enforcer outside there. Let's go ahead and play this real quick right now.
Hi, I'm Mike Tyson, and I'm so delighted to be the Night's enforcer for the Jericho.
Hey, Mikey, the Mikeinator. What's going on, buddy?
What did you do?
Okay, all right, slow your roll, brother. We're cool. Look, I just want to say right off the whip, all right? Sure, I might have been barely born when you had your run on the top, but my dad said you were a big deal, and for that, Mike, kudos. Oh, sorry. Look, my boys in the Pinnacle, they're a little peeved with you right now, especially because of your actions last week.
Well, I'm mad at them, too.
Oh, okay, and I get it, and guess what? Big man, you absolutely have every right to be. If anybody understands your actions more than me, I don't think they exist. Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, right? Because Chris Jericho is your enemy, and if there was ever a better time to strike than tonight, I don't know what is.
I see my enemy right in front of me.
No, hold on, Mike. Hold on. Let's just relax here for a second. All I'm saying is, I'm not asking you to cheat in this scenario.
Well, that's what it sounds like.
No. Tony Khan, I didn't ask him to cheat. I'm not asking you to cheat. Brother, all I'm asking you to do is be on the right side of history. Okay? Now, the last thing I would want for you, Mikey, is to look back on the night and have any regrets. Because looking at your face, I'm sure you can already think of one.
Baby,
Whoa, no, okay. Now, hold on. See this? Mike, we're going to settle down. This right here, this is a blank check with your name on it. okay? Think about it.
Rips the check out of his hand, tears the check up. He's tearing. Puts the check in his mouth. He's chewing it.
Okay.
And he spits it.
Okay. I'll remember that, Mike. I'll remember that.
All right, first of all, never make fun of Mike Tyson's tattoo on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Never. I don't think I would do that. But good segment. Tyson kept his cool.
Yes. And, like, I know I'm not cutting new ground here, breaking new ground here, but it's just it's a very funny contrast. Hearing him talk versus who he is as a person, because he sounds like he's this enthusiastic, like, 12-year-old, where he's just like, I'm sure I'm happy to be here in AEW. This is gonna be a lot of fun. But then he's like, then he's just sitting there and like, you look at him, he's like, he'd kill me. He'd kill you.
He would. Absolutely. This man could literally snap at any second and bite your fucking ear off. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Literally bite your ear off. Or just decide to punch you once, which would probably take out a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
God, I would not want to be hit by Mike Tyson. Look, Steve-O took a punch from him, and it wasn't even. And if you watch it, it wasn't even. Steve-O ran into his fist.
Right.
He was smart enough, even in some of his drunkest stupors, not to let Mike Tyson actually punch him in the face.
Sure.
So that Tyson, no matter what, is still a badass. Sorry.
Yes.
But anyway, what MJF basically says, "Hey, look, I'm not asking you to cheat. I'm asking you to take a bribe." Meaning, I'm not asking you to cheat for free. All right.
Suppose it's honorable.
I wouldn't say honorable. It's somethingable.
At least he's compensating him.
It's comparable. There you go, Smark. That it is.
Yes.
That it is. But good little segment. I'm glad I found it because I don't think I could have done that justice. But Tyson, like I said, kept his cool, which is pretty good. Luckily, he didn't really spit that, and it kind of missed. It hit his jacket. It hit MJF's jacket, so no big deal. But good segment. Look, I know a lot of people have their feelings about Mike Tyson, but if you've ever watched his one-man show, I believe it's called Undisputed, it's worth a watch. It is really worth a watch. He goes through every bad moment of his life to the good moments of his life to more bad moments. It's a one-man show is what it is.
Sure. Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I have seen a couple of like ESPN documentaries and what about him. He's had a very interesting, very hard.
Mm-hmm. And listen, on that one-man special, he goes through all these horrible moments in his life, and when it comes to the one thing that he went to jail for, that rape, he still says he swears he didn't do it. I gotta tell you, man, I believe him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he had, at the very least did not say, I didn't do it, but if I were to do it, here is a book on how I would have done it.
You're right. And I never saw him running away from police in a white Bronco either. But if you've never seen Undisputed, I'm pretty sure that's the name of it, Undisputed. Again, it's just a Mike Tyson. He's talking on stage. It's a live show. It's worth the watch. I've mentioned it before, and I'll mention it again anytime I talk about Tyson because it is really good. And like I said, he seems like he's just being an honest guy in it and just, boom, knocking it out. It's almost done like kind of a motivational speech, believe it or not. Yes, by Mike Tyson. So, anyway. Since we have these new heel Young Bucks, Mark, we get Pac and Ray Phoenix versus the Young Bucks in here. It was a good high-flying match, but still just a Young Bucks match to me, and a long fucking match, man.
It was, yes. They dedicated the better half of a half hour to it. It
Yeah.
was a very long match, but I was pretty enthralled by it because I'm all about the flippy dippy doos, and you get a lot of that when you have the Young Bucks, you have Phoenix in there, and I mean even Pac was doing it too. So I really enjoyed it, but I can see how other people who might not be as interested in that particular style of wrestling would be a little bit less entertained and be a little bit more conscious of just how long it was that was running for.
No, I mean, look, really great spots, great moves, loved it. But it's just, Young Bucks. You just know how it's going to end. They did a little twist on the little thing tonight, and throughout this match, and you're right, it was 30 minutes. I mean, that's a quarter of their show done if you break it up into 30 minutes. They kept showing the roster and the crowd just looking disgusted with the Young Bucks for what they've done.
Right.
Now, to win, there was a few things in the match I noticed. First of all, they showed you their boots, the bottom of their boots that said Dior, Christian Dior.
Mm-hmm.
But they also had Nike swooshes on the sides.
Yeah, they're supposed to be their Air Force Ones. They're like special edition Dior Air Force Ones.
Are they like ridiculously expensive?
I would assume so. I am not at all well versed in this whole sneaker collection, hobby. But I was seeing a lot of people online that were talking about how it was kind of ridiculous that they were A, wrestling in them, and B, they took a photo and one of them was bending down. So it was like scrunching up the shoe. And they're like, people were losing their mind about it.
Oh, wow. Well, when you walk, you actually forget it.
Right. Well, that's sort of a thing. And I mean, I guess you could say that's kind of ridiculous about anything that you collect. But there's a lot of people that they sell the shoes and they never wear the shoes. And they sell them to other people who also don't wear them. And they all just kind of sit there in a closet somewhere.
I mean, look, you want to do that? That's fine. It's up to you. I got no issues with it. I mean, I have things that I collected. Like I said, I didn't realize, but I found out that I collected hats. I've never worn 3/4 of them. Mm-hmm. I'm actually thinking about starting maybe giving away a few on the show. Some of them are signed by cigar, like CEOs, cigar company CEOs, not with my name, just signed. So
interesting.
Thinking about giving some of them away here and there on the show. But yeah, they kept showing the roster. Roster's looking disgusted. And then the Bucks, Mark, actually ended up ripping off Phoenix's mask.
Yes.
Yeah, to get the win. Kind of just more disrespect they're showing, obviously, to make the crowd more disgusted.
Well, two things, I guess. The first thing is they kept showing the tag team division because this was a tape show, and I guess there was no fans involved. It's like so that's basically it was kind of their way of making it look kind of sweetening the pot a little bit, as it were. And then the thing that's interesting about it, though, is if you watch it back towards the end, you can actually see where he's undoing his mask to help them out with the spot. Because there's a very long period, because it's like Pac is getting on the ropes, because he's going to hit him with his finish. But you see Phoenix like kneel down in front of the camera too, and he's just like kind of fidgeting. And then it wasn't really making sense to me because I was more paying attention to Pac at the time. But after the spot happens, I was like, oh, that's what's going on. So I was like, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. I didn't actually catch him doing that. My wife had just come home with McDonald's. And I really wanted to eat my Big Mac.
There you go.
Yeah, I needed a Big Mac. She had to go to Walmart. My daughter ripped up her changing pad because she can grab it from her bed. We will now...
Yeah, I'll make a Big Mac every now and again.
Yeah, Big Mac, some fries. Good stuff.
I like a double quarter pounder.
I like that. I do. Now, do you know that you can order two things? First of all, you can order a Big Mac with quarter pounder patties. Two, you can order a double Big Mac.
Interesting. I like it.
I have got one day, me and my son, my older son, we're going to McDonald's. And I didn't know about the double Big Mac. He told me. He said, I want a double Big Mac. I said, what the fuck is that? He said, trust me, say it. I said, okay. So I pulled up and I said it. They gave us 2 double Big Macs, and he ate the whole thing, and I ate the whole thing, and they were fucking delicious.
Nice.
They were expensive, but they'll do it for you.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, they'll usually
yeah.
do just kind of weird things for you if you ask them.
Yeah, and it's 4 patties. You get, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top. It's a filling motherfucker. I'll tell you that.
Not bad.
Yeah, took my 12-year-old to tell me that. Things he finds on the internet.
Oh, that's all that is, too, because there's all those YouTube videos of, like, secret McDonald's or secret such and such restaurant items that you never... And, like, I always see those, but I'm always, A, doubtful that they actually are things, and B, if they actually are things, I feel like you're kind of being a little bit of an asshole if you go in there and you're like, all right, I want the special fish sandwich at Burger King.
Well, I mean, look, like I said, the double one is just, wow, they put a few extra patties in the little steaming bins they have.
Oh, yeah, it's very little shirt off their back.
But you're right. I hate when people are like, and, then add this, know this, do this. Oh, come on.
Right.
I mean, take things off is fine. I never add anything. I just, because I can't have mayo on anything, so I always take mayo off. One less thing for them to do.
My usual rule of thumb is I never order anything that, like, it would completely ruin it for me if they included it anyway. So, like, because, like, I don't like beans. I don't like refried beans or things of that nature. So if we go to Mexican place or you go to a Taco Bell or whatever, I will make sure that I pick something off the menu that doesn't have beans, because it's better than just the idea of asking them not to, and then if they do include it anyway, like, you're not going to be able to pick the shit out. Like, it's just it's ruined at that point.
Really? You don't like refried beans? No frijoles for you.
No.
Oh, I love me some refried beans, man. Good shit right there. All right. Now I know. That's Mark. This is another thing we're not going to... There's a couple of things right here we're not going to spend a lot of time on real quick now. Red Velvet versus Jade Cargill. I think Jade Cargill looked better in this match than her last match. What do you buy you?
I could see that. Because what the last one was, the Shaq one? Mm-hmm. Or was that, there was another one?
No, that was her first match.
Mm-hmm.
So,
she's getting better. And then, like, plus out, we were talking about the fact that it was pre-recorded or that it was a taped show.
Right.
So, that's sort of a benefit there. And I think that was strategically done. And I don't at all fault them for that. Where if there was, a mistake here and there, but just go ahead and have them do it again and fix it in the editing.
I did like the follow-away slam that Jade gave to Red Velvet over the barricade into the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool. Nice. But Jade did end up winning this match, too. And looked good doing it. That's all I'll say.
There you go.
Now, we had this Anthony Ogogo debut, Smart. One of QT's crew, so they're letting old QT come out there and try to put stuff together, and I don't even know who the guy that Anthony Ogogo went up against. Did they even say his name?
We'll give it a look. See here.
Give it. See if you. I mean, they probably have it up there by now, but I didn't even catch the guy's name. But this whole thing is just dumb, stupid. QT having his own stable is just ridiculous. It just doesn't fit. Doesn't fit the character. Doesn't fit his look. Comes out there. It just doesn't fit. I don't. What do you think there?
Well, just the whole idea of him being a heel and the whole idea of that feud with Cody and things like that. Mm-hmm. I'm not invested in his character at all. I think that's really the only thing that's sort of holding them back. The guy who he wrestled was Cole Carter, apparently, according to Bleacher Report.
Okay.
So there you go. But just they have a lot of people there who it's a nice sentiment, but like they're friends of the Young Bucks, or they do things for the Young Bucks. You get the people like QT Marshall, the people like Brandon Cutler, just these people who are there because they have an actual personal close relationship with them, and they're like them being there sort of fosters a family type of vibe about them instead of it just being your regular sort of run-of-the-mill soulless company. But at the same time, these people fucking suck. Like, these people are not interesting in any way. Which is like you're them existing is holding up a roster spot for somebody who could do a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all just fucking ridiculous to me. This whole thing. But I guess they want to give them a shot and just let people complain about it. So anyway, let's just move on before I get angry at QT Marshall.
Well, I mean, the whole, like, even before that, like, the last angle that he was involved in was, like, he was basically a simp. Like, he was giving Allie money and giving her, like, the car and all this, like, personal information and shit. So, like, he's basically, his character before this was the kind of guy who fulfills Amazon wish list. Like, there's no reason to be invested in this guy's character.
None. None at all, which is why we should just move on and not even talk about it anymore.
Sure.
This was the match right here with Mike Tyson as a special enforcer, Dax of FTR, Jericho with Sammy Guevara. First of all, good idea to not give Tyson a chair this time. We saw how that worked out last time. He was almost sleeping.
I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen that gif resurface more often.
Well, I think it was a good idea to not give him a chair to sit in at that time because, like I said, we did see that picture. It did resurface a little bit a couple weeks ago. Speaking of chairs, Jericho grabs a chair, and Tyson doesn't even let him use it. Now, he did say he was going to call it down the middle in a little promo earlier in the show. But we had a few good little things in this match. Dax used a microphone. Jericho used a pen. Now, I'll say this match was... If I say this match was fun but not very good, does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, there's been matches like that. Like one of the ones that sticks out in my mind is that like Al Snow Big Boss Man match that happened. It was like for the hardcore title. Where it's like, if you look back at it on the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, like it was not a good wrestling match by any means, but just a lot of like interesting shit happened. That was fun.
All right, yeah. I mean, it's not like it was a bad match. I'm not saying it was bad. Just listen. I think both of FTRs are like just absolutely severely overrated, and I think I really think them signing with AEW has proved that, to be honest with you, that they are very overrated. But I mean, the match just turned into like most AEW, matches. That just turned into a fucking clusterfuck. Which I mean, even the main event turned into a goddamn clusterfuck.
Sure. Yeah, I had a problem with that, but we'll get into that later.
Well, I mean, you get Cash of out there with a bat. Tyson lays him out with a right hook. Okay, well, if you're going to lay him out with a right hook, why didn't you let Jericho use the chair? I thought this match...
And the stipulation was kind of nonsensical, too, because it was like, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to allow you to have one person from your stable, but no more after that. It's like you can have... Dax Harwood can have Cash Wheeler by his side. Jericho can have Sammy Guevara, but no other Inner Circle members, no other Pinnacle members. It's like, okay, so you're still going to allow potentially some level of interference, but you're not going to allow a lot of level of interference. Like, it was basically, so it was just like, well, we have to have somebody out there so that Tyson can deck somebody. It's just like, it was just a lot of it was like almost the matchmaking equivalent of that spot where you get the people that just stand there on the outside and wait for somebody to dive. Where it's like you can see them setting it up as they book it.
Yeah. It's just, a lot of things in this match didn't make a lot of sense. Like I said, it was a fun match. You know, you got Tyson out there, you got Jericho out there. Jericho always, kind of makes it a fun match when he's out there. You got Tyson out there. I didn't think there was anything about this match that really, first of all, like you just said, made sense. And secondly, that just really stood out. Like I said, we had them using a microphone, a pen, and then, Jericho ends up getting the win. It was just kind of, why did you do this? Why did you do this? Okay, clusterfuck. Then, all right, they use shit anyway, and here we go. Jericho gets the win. Tyson knocks out, Cash. God, I hate that name. Cash. Tyson knocked out with a right hook. And Jericho gets, I don't know. Blah. But it wasn't the main event, so I guess that's good. Now, Smart.
Yes.
I'm going to move on here and ask you a question. We go to this little segment with all the Good Brothers and Omega and that whole little stable. Now, I got to ask you something. Why are the Good Brothers still in AEW? Hear me out here. Now, this experiment, this Impact experiment, as you may call it, is pretty much, can we call it a total flop at this point?
Yes, we can, but it's not. It's far from done, though. That's the thing.
I realize that, but again, I said before, when this whole thing started, Impact is a sinking ship that they're jumping on. I don't know why they would do it, but this proves my point. And you agreed with me, our point, so I'll say.
Sure.
This proves it that this experiment is just a flop. So why keep the Good Brothers there still?
It's particularly perplexing because you added an extra team. You added something that they didn't necessarily need because the tag team wasn't strong enough on its own. So you didn't necessarily need their presence there. But, there are people, because, it's, for lack of a better term, kind of the Bullet Club. So it's like there are people who do enjoy that, and there are people there that are there for that, the sort of kind of bastardized version of the Bullet Club. But it's very weird because where AEW would benefit from having a relationship with Impact, I think, would be the sort of additional depth that it could add to their women's division. Like their women's division, it's solidifying itself. It's getting there. It's a lot better than it has been.
Oh, yeah.
But there's still a lot of pieces that you could use at Impact, that work for Impact, the female wrestlers there that would have good matches with the wrestlers that they have on their roster. So it's like that would be kind of the way that they could benefit from that relationship. And then with the Impact, though, Impact's not, none of the AEW people are really coming over. So it's just like they're not really getting anything out of it. AEW is not really getting anything out of it. At best, it could be kind of a situation where it's sort of the foundation for a larger, kind of commingling of talents between AEW, Impact, New Japan, so on and so forth. It could be bigger moving forward, but at the moment, it's just sort of there. It's floundering.
Yeah, I guess so. And again, right now it's not really benefiting either company, especially not Impact. So I don't know. At some point you got to fucking cut your losses. And I think this might have been the problem. It's probably time to it's like having a deadly shark on the line. You just want to cut the fucking line and go about your day. I think that's the way you need to go here at this point. So, anyway. I'm going fishing this week, and I'm thinking fishing already. So, and again, move on a little bit here. Not going to spend too much time on this one. Chris Statlander, though, did have her first match back in, 4 or 5 months, Mark?
Yeah, that sounds right. She had been injured for a pretty long time.
Right.
I think she got injured around the Revolution pay-per-view, but I could be wrong with last year.
Sounds about right. We get her out there. She's with Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends, which she kind of strangely just sort of joined out of nowhere. And it's her versus Amber Nova. Kind of a squash match. Chris Statlander gets the quick win. I don't know.
You really have to dig deep for it to make sense as to why she's with them. 'Cause it's sort of an inside joke of a sense, I guess. And I don't even know if this is why or if I'm just piecing this together. Because they had Chuck Taylor and Trent, they had their best friend show on the High Spots Network. So they would have the wrestlers, they would interview them, and they would basically, the whole idea was they would just ask them the dumbest fucking questions possible. And I mean that in a good way. Like it was a comedy show for the most part. It wasn't an actual like shoot interview. They would just get people who they were friends with and they would ask them silly questions. And it was pretty funny. But a lot of the times it would be shit like, do you believe in like UFOs? Do you believe in aliens? Shit like that. So theoretically, since they asked them about aliens, she's an alien. It sort of works, I guess. But like you gotta add some blocks there. You sort of have to piece things together on your own time to make it make sense.
Yeah, well, I'll say this: they had a little bit of a chance there to make her character not so Bailey-like with the booping, which is basically a hug.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it gives somebody to talk for, which I mean, that's kind of what that character. I'm not opposed to the character at all, but how does she communicate, and then how do you further fuse if she doesn't talk? Like it's kind of the same thing with Dexter Lumis.
Mm-hmm. But no, I guess you're right. Okay. I guess you're right. Okay, I'll go with it. All right, let's just move on. I didn't want to spend time on that anyway. We get Tony Schiavone out there. He brings out Christian Smark. And we get Team Taz coming out in the middle of this little thing. And Taz is pissed off. Christian, you didn't answer me. If you're going to join Team Taz. Christian made fun of his height. Taz's height. But I got to tell you what. Taz really ripped Christian on the mic, talking about how Edge is little friend and this and that. Taz got the best of him on the mic, I'll tell you. I really think he did.
Yeah. This poor guy has not been put in a position. And it doesn't help that Taz basically destroyed him.
Taz really did, man. He really just verbally buried this guy. So I don't know. And then I mean, we get this quick little exchange between Hobbs comes in the ring, and we get this quick little exchange between those guys. Hobbs beats the shit out of Christian, throws him against the barricade a few times, and that's pretty much the end of it. So I don't know. I just thought, I mean, Taz just laid into him on the mic, man. It was pretty rough. So we'll see what Christian can come back from. Again, this guy's got the huge albatross around his neck from the way they put him over. And now you get Taz out there basically just saying, look, I never liked you. I didn't even like your old, Edge, that piece of shit, basically he was saying. And you're a piece of shit too. And I did like what Taz said. You want to make fun of my height? If I sat on my stack of money, I'd be taller than you. I'm not sure about that. We all know Christian saved his money too. So, I don't know. Weird shit, good shit, but poor Christian. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So let's go ahead and rock into this little main event here. We get Matt Hardy versus Darby Allin. In basically, I don't know what they were calling it. It's an anything goes match.
Yes.
Basically. That's what it is. I like this match. Now, listen, Smart. I don't. Matt's a lot slower than he used to be. Obviously.
Well, also real quick, important to know, his father did just recently pass away. Like,
Right.
The last couple of days.
Yeah, he did. I forget the name, but yeah, he did. Was it Gilbert? Gilbert Hardy?
I'm not sure on the name, I will say, but yeah, he did just this week pass away. So
Yeah,
that's sort of. But actually, though, I think if it was pre-recorded, that would have happened before the fact.
actually, I think he passed away a few weeks ago, and it's just coming out now.
Interesting.
So, I don't know. Now, again, Matt Hardy's slower than he used to be, but still gets it done in the ring, in my opinion. Really does. Gets out there and can still take the bumps. Just can't move as fast. And, Darby's always out there and creative as hell in the ring. At one point, though, we get Matt's boys out there. The Butcher throws a trash can at Darby. Dark Order and Sting come out again. They may need... Listen, I like the brawls to end the show, but do we need a clusterfuck every week, Mark?
No.
No. Thank you. Exactly. And every one of their matches are ending up in these clusterfucks because they have so many stables and this and that. And it's just happening. I mean, I realize they're trying to build stories out of it. We get Lance Archer out there with Sting and, they're having a little moment between them. But these clusterfucks, there's so much to keep up with already.
I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like, okay, there were people there that it made sense as to why they were there. They've already kind of started to lay the groundwork to some of these stories, like you said, with Archer and Sting. What the fuck were Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page doing? No, like there was just so much. After a while, you have to have faith in the people that you put into the match. It's like I felt like the stuff that was just Darby and Matt was good. I was enjoying that, but it's like you have to have some faith in them that they're going to be able to put on a good match. That you don't need to have all this other stuff going on alongside of it. Where it's
Right.
like, okay, don't turn the channel. Don't turn the channel. There's going to be more run-ins. There's going to be more spots. There's going to be more just shenanigans. It's like just let them wrestle. Like, it's not that hard. Like, these are guys people care about. People care about Matt Hardy. People care about Darby Allin. Let them work.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down for shenanigans, but every fucking show, and again, they're letting. I see no reason to take this little belt off of Darby anyway. Darby used the bat to end up beating Hardy. He chokes him with it. Darby climbs up a huge steel beam. I don't know what they kept saying that was part of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what it was for, but he climbed up it, huge coffin drop to win the match. Man, once again, I always worry about Darby. So, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good spot. I like that. But that was sort of the thing, though. It's like you had all these people interfering and all these bells and whistles, but it didn't even factor into the finish. So it's like you literally didn't need any of that shit. Like,
Right.
Just let them work. It was a good match. Like, I'm not complaining about the match. I'm complaining that there was too much going on to distract from it. Like, what we got in terms of a match was a good match. It was good quality.
Yeah, it was a fine match. We didn't need all the bullshit and fuckery that went on with it.
Mm-hmm.
But they seem to enjoy it. So, I don't know. Wasn't worth it to me. But we don't have much more news to get into. And, man, I thought we were going to be much less time, but we're already over 2 hours here. So, let's get a few quick things out of here. Now, Smart, you saw this. I saw the quick clip of it. Since we're talking AEW, John Moxley over the weekend, actually at GCW Spring Break, ended up confronting Nick Gage after his match with Ricky Shane Page.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I saw it a little bit. you probably saw more than me because you were probably. Did you watch this show already, or did not finish?
Yeah, I've watched this show. Yeah, I watched it yesterday. Was when I watched all of it.
All right.
Because it had happened Friday. It happened while we were on the air Friday. Friday. So I didn't get a chance to watch it as it was happening. But long story short, sort of they've been feuding for a pretty long time. Nick Gage and Ricky Shane Page. Nick Gage was champion. He lost the belt. And then there was like Ricky Shane Page sort of had like a guaranteed title match, sort of like a Money in the Bank type situation. Mm-hmm. So like right after the match where Gage lost the belt, he cashed in on it. So basically stole the belt, and the last couple of months have been based on people trying to take the belt back because he was sort of an invading force. He wasn't necessarily part of GCW proper, is the story they were trying to sell. He has this whole stable of people that are Ohio wrestlers because he's from Ohio, so he has a bunch of Ohio-based wrestlers. That's his stable. And the whole thing has been based on, fuck Ricky Shane Page, fuck Ohio, is sort of the rallying cry for the people in GCW, Nick Gage included. And so he beat him. But again, the whole thing was like, Ohio is this fucking shitty place. Fuck Ohio, fuck Ricky Shane Page, so on and so forth. Well, after Nick Gage beat him, cue Jon Moxley's music, Jon Moxley being from Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's an interesting little tidbit to that because they had a little bit of a face-off. And then as Moxley's leaving the ring, Nick Gage again kind of reiterates the familiar battle cry of "fuck Ohio." Moxley turns around and says, "Oh, excuse me," but not in no uncertain terms. So they have themselves a little bit of a brawl. It was pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with this.
Nice.
Oh, and I will say, sort of to note, he has kind of worked with them before, but he's always done the only stuff that he's done for them is the blood sport. So he's worked the last 2 or 3 blood sports. He worked the blood sport of the WrestleMania weekend, wrestled Josh Barnett. The one before this, he wrestled Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Right. Yeah. So look at getting him involved. I wouldn't think it'd be a bad thing to have. I'll tell you what, it wouldn't be a bad thing to have Jon Moxley of AEW as your GCW World Champion for a little bit.
Oh yeah, it would be very big for them. But I will also say I got to give a lot of credit to the GCW fans and to Nick Gage, I guess, because there were a lot of people that were booing Jon Moxley just for getting in Gage's face, which I am fucking astounded by. It's like at first it was the initial, oh my god, Jon Moxley's here, but then it's like, oh, he's going after our guy. We can't let this happen.
Well, there you go. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's going to be like I said, that's going to be good if they can actually find a way to get the belt on Moxley, which I get a feeling
and it's an interesting story, too, because Gage was cutting a promo, because Moxley, of course, was in CZW before with Nick Gage. And he was basically cutting a promo. It's like, I haven't seen your punk ass in 10 years, and this is the shit you pull. Like, I remember you when you were nothing. Like, get out of here, son. Like, yeah. I like that, because he was like, I was on this scene when you were a little fucking kid. Like, get out of here.
Pretty much, man. Good shit right there. Now, all right, let's just roll to the next little thing, which is the last thing we're going to talk about, Smark. I know I had the other little tidbit of the F9, the Fast and Furious 9 thing, but let's wait till Friday for that. We'll play it Friday. Sure. Let's get into the Ivelisse thing, since we're kind of rolling with AEW here. Now, Ivelisse is once again kind of in trouble with a company. She puts out a tweet today that says, "History repeats itself, unfortunately. I speak up about mistreatment and get let go. That's life." So she, obviously everyone's speculating, looks like AEW let her go. Now, Smart, she's had a problem with pretty much every company she's been in, one way or another. At what point does she look at herself and say, well, there's only one common denominator? Me. There's got to be something. Now, she blames Thunder Rosa in another little post that I'm going to read in a minute here. She blames Thunder Rosa a little bit. More than a little bit. But again, at what point do you just say, well, you know what? Maybe it's me if I'm the one getting released from all these companies.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, we talked about this, I believe, last week, actually. Was like, she's had this sort of history. And it's hard to say because, we're not there, so we don't know exactly what it was that happened. Sometimes, some people, just because you don't look like you're in the right doesn't necessarily mean that you're not in the right. Like some people, it becomes a popularity contest sometimes, or it's less about who is right, who is just, than who plays the game properly. But that being said, it's just like you asked after a while if this doesn't, you keep going to different companies and this doesn't work out for you. Don't you have to start looking in the mirror? That's the thing, though, is she feels entirely justified, is the thing. And she might very well be. Like, again, we don't necessarily know what it was that caused this whole falling out. She might be entirely in the right, but even if she's not, she doesn't feel that way. So, she feels like she is right. She feels like she is the one that has been done wrong. It's hard to say. Like, I will say that we've talked about it, we've seen it, and we've discussed it, her having falling outs in companies before. I've heard a shoot interview here or there where, like, somebody will just sort of throw a little bit of a diss about her, and, like, other people just, like, nobody will be like, hey, that's fucked up. They'll just be like, yeah. Like, I remember, not exactly what it was that he said, but I remember, like, Jack Evans sort of, like, kind of taking some shots at her a little bit, and nobody being like, that's fucked up. Everybody just being like, yeah, you got a point. So it's like, after a while, like, it goes back to all the other people that we talk about, the low keys of the world, just where it's like, they have talent, but they continue to get in their own way.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And she seems to be the one that, again, just like Loki, like Austin Aries, just can't admit the problem is him. And, I mean, he's a Looney Tunes anyway, obviously. But,
sure.
But Ivelisse just seems, and again, she blames Thunder Rosa a lot on this. Let me go ahead and read this. She put out a little statement on Twitter. A few things I'll go ahead and read. It's not that long. Here's how she starts. I spoke up about mistreatment from a coach, even to other women too. There were witnesses, and I was the one suspended and left in limbo, and just now let go. And nothing has been done at all the entire time about, and it's in parentheses, Thunder Rosa slandering my name the entire time in AEW and doing it to sabotage my position here. I kept quiet. Thunder Rosa also has a history of getting involved with officials in order to get ahead, which there was a lawsuit and everything in Lucha Underground. Nope, it was her being unprofessional. She had done the same thing in LU as well, Lucha Underground, and was unprofessional, hurting my tag partner's jaw the next match and slandering my name the entire time at AEW, and there was a thumbs up emoji in there for some reason. She wrote in response to fans regarding about her issues. Another fan had commented, basically, you've got similar problems. Basically, what we just said, maybe think about you. And she said, nope, I don't. Only major companies plagued with politics. So, I may as well wrap it up here real quick here. Another fan, obviously, on Twitter, basically said, hey, listen, rumors won't take over the truth. She responded, maybe if you make a statement, you can, squash some things. And she went, too mentally drained to deal with it all. And a statement or no statement, no one has a right to slander about people or situations they know nothing about. Now, let's get to the first thing here. Now, there were witnesses. I was suspended. We never heard that, which, not a big deal. But Thunder Rosa, I think it's funny that she says that you can't slander someone's name, and literally she's slandering Thunder Rosa's name in the same post.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of
But
hypocritical.
yeah, you shouldn't slander somebody's name, because if you slander somebody's name, you'll be like that fucking bitch Thunder Rosa.
Right.
It's like, no, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, you can't go.
It's kind of the same thing here. She's doing the exact same thing. Now, once again, I feel like I don't know what the Lucha Underground thing was all about. I don't know what the lawsuit was about. I thought it was about that they wouldn't let her out of her contract and owed her money. But maybe it was about something else. I don't know. But again, all this to basically Rosa, she's blaming other people. Maybe it's just you. And she doesn't say how Thunder Rosa was mistreating her. But just by saying things, by slandering your name in AEW?
Right.
How? I mean, the last
the
time...
whole thing
No, go ahead.
is like, she's saying that nobody deserves to be slandered. Okay, that's true, fair enough. But then, like, she comes out and she says, like, she's not going to tell you what exactly it was that happened, because she's just too drained to put in the energy to explain what it was that happened, but not drained enough so much that you cannot reply to, like, just random tweets and then kind of like you said, slander other people. So it's like, okay, well, if we don't know this story, then enlighten us. But you're not going to enlighten us, so then what do we have to go on other than just the pieces of the puzzle that we know, or we think we know, that we've seen, what have you?
Yeah. I mean, again, say what you're going to say. If you're going to, unless she's probably planning on suing this company too. So I don't know. It's just I really feel, once again, if you have been fired from some major companies, whether plagued in politics or not, you should have learned the game by now.
Right. Well, and where are you going to go where politics are not present in some capacity? Like, and I'm not even talking about wrestling. I'm talking about you. If you get you quit wrestling right now and you get a job as a cashier, like, you're going to deal with that shit too. Like, politics are unfortunately ever present in any workplace. You have to be able to sort of navigate those shark-filled waters.
Yeah. I mean, you've got a senior person in every company, someone that's been somewhere forever, someone that may not like you, someone that knows the boss. Who knows? Someone maybe sucking off the boss. Who knows? But it's just, that's the way it is in every fucking place you go. It doesn't matter. But
am I reading too much into that, or was that kind of what it seemed like she was implying, that the Thunder Rosa was underground?
Oh, she was implying that Thunder Rosa was fucking referees in order to get ahead.
Okay. Old Marty Elias.
Well, she said officials, which I believe she said. Hey, you never know. You never know.
Referees. Well, yeah, now I get what you're saying. The higher ups.
Yeah. Again, a little slanderous, don't you think, Smark?
Dario Cueto's like, hey, I appreciate this, but you realize that I'm not like the actual boss right here, right?
But again, isn't that a little slanderous?
That's very slanderous. You're basically implying that you're fucking your way to the top.
With zero proof being laid out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, I would definitely like some proof.
Yeah,
for prosperity's sake, for science, for accuracy.
You want a proof for porn, you perv. But yeah,
not mutually exclusive.
It's just funny when you're saying, "Oh, she slandered me in the company." You're literally, this is slander. This is libel, actually, because you're writing it. Even worse.
Yes.
My God.
Yeah, and I mean, you're putting it out there in a form that is going to forever be present. Like, you could delete it, but it's still going to exist on the internet.
No, you can't delete anything on the internet, dude. It gets screenshot immediately. No, it doesn't. It doesn't fucking happen. But eventually,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Eventually, though, you've got to look at yourself and say, "Listen, I am the one getting fired from this company. I have been fired from this company. I may be the problem."
Mm-hmm.
So, on that note, Smark, you got anything else, man? Or are we probably good to go from here?
I think that about does it.
All right. Well, then let's go ahead and knock these plugs out one more time. Once again, check out the high marks over there, Cheeseman Mojo and G Wiz. Check them out where? Mixer.com/Metal Mitt Network. That's right, 2 T's in Mitt. Metal Mitt Network, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday nights. You guys want to be checking out those guys right there. Bobby Anthem and Bobby Blades, the Inhuman Experience. Definitely want to be subscribing to the Inhumans. They will be back. And they will be back with a fucking vengeance. So check them out. Everything Unscripted Wrestling Podcast, you guys want to check them out too. You can find them on all the usual podcast platforms and on Blog Talk Radio. Just go ahead and start typing in Everything Unscripted Wrestling. It will not even let you finish. Stephen Milan, appreciate you sharing the show, sir. And where can you find him? Reviewing movies? You know where. Letterboxd, BOXD.com/Stephen Milan. And there's 2 L's in Milan. Check him out over there. And you can always find us on Spreaker, YouTube, Anchor, Stitcher, iHeart, Spotify, Google, anywhere you get podcasts from. Smart, wrap it up.
Yes, sir. Mondays, 8:30 on the Metal Mitt Podcast Network. Be sure to check out Cheese Boys with the Cheese Man, Cheese Master. 10:30 a.m. Sundays. Be sure to check out the Motor City Machine Guns with Mojo and Dirk. And last, you'll never least, be sure to check out our friends at the Planet Rack on Tour podcast with Bobby Anthem, Papa Dan Sincere, and Neil Nasty. Speaking of returning with a fucking vengeance, as you would put it, be sure to subscribe because they will be back, and they will be back in effect. So you want to be able to subscribe so that you will be ready for the new episodes as they drop upon you.
All right. There you go. That is that. We will be back here Friday night. But until then, thank you, chat room. Thank you, downloaders. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. See y'all Fridays. See ya!
Sit a spell, drink some more. Time for the band to hit the door. We're going on.